Hey everybody, this is Flavio Romeo, and this episode of the Downcast, we had the opportunity of meeting with Barry Rubinow, graduate of Glen Rock High School, and also the producer, director, editor of Banded Together, which was a documentary about the amazing, gifted musicians that came out of Glen Rock High School, including the Vivinows and Lee Shapiro, and most importantly, the teacher, Joe Silski. So he captured all of that in this documentary, the day that the band actually played at Glen Rock High School. They all got together, including Uncle Floyd, and performed. And he talks about that whole event and how he put the whole thing together. So enjoy the episode, everybody. So here we are. I'm really excited about today because, and I don't know if you guys have seen, but there was the screening of Banded Together, which was an incredible documentary about these. It's amazing how many gifted people came out of Glen Rock High School. But I'm with Barry Rubinow. He is one of the gifted people that came out of Glen Rock High School. Barry, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
As it happens, the screening as we're recording this is tonight. But for those of you that didn't come, I put it out there, and everybody put it out there. If you're not there tonight, well, shame on you, because now you're going to miss the screening. But so Banded Together, it's amazing how many gifted people graduate each year from high schools across the country, but nobody knows about it. So to be able to pull all those people together, how did that whole thing come about?
Well, I graduated in 1974.
Shout out, class of 1974, Glen Rock High School. You got a lot of people that graduated with you.
Yeah. And two of the guys in the film, two of the band of the Banded Together, the boys from Glen Rock High, John Feeney and Doug Romoff were close friends of mine. And I knew the other guys. I knew Jimmy Rubinow and Jerry and Frank Pagano and Jeff Menno, because they were all very close to me. And my brother was in the band and played with Jerry. He played sax and clarinet. And obviously I knew Floyd by reputation.
Everybody knew Floyd by reputation.
Yeah.
Florio. I call him Zio Florio. We speak Italian, so Zio Florio.
He's amazing. We just saw him last night, and he's still going strong. He's booked like every night somewhere.
Yeah.
It's
so
amazing.
And since we're talking about it, April 20th, Shortways Barn in Hawthorne. Come and see Uncle Floyd from 5 to 7. Little shameless plug.
Well, while we're plugging, if you missed the film that's tonight, April 27th, Ridgewood Film Festival.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So April 27th, the Ridgewood Film Festival.
That's right. Again. Another screening. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So make sure you check it, and we'll promote it more, because I know they had this. I had a friend of mine who had a film in the festival last year, and I think she got honorable mention. Sorry, Renee, if I got that wrong, but I know your film was there. I was out of town. I couldn't make it. But this year, Ridgewood Film Festival, April 27th. And if you missed this film, make sure you go to check it out, because I'm sure you guys are going to win. It was an outstanding film.
Thank you. So getting back to the origins, so I knew all these guys, and then obviously I followed their careers. I mean, Jimmy and Jerry I would watch on the Conan show, and I knew Lee Shapiro became one of the Four Seasons, and Floyd obviously, and my friend John Feeney is the top classical bass player in the country, really, and followed his career and went to some of his concerts. So a few years ago, Doug Romoff, who's the Fender bass player, he had transitioned. He still played gigs as a musician, but he transitioned to media and had his own studio and started producing things. And we worked together on a few projects over the years. And we were talking about this project. Actually, the very, very origins is he and Lee Shapiro had an idea, something like this, about doing a project about these guys maybe 6 years ago, and it just never happened.
About the boys from Glen Rock High School.
Yeah, about this group of guys.
Yes.
Because it's an amazing story. Not only they're so talented and so successful, and all out of one high school, very small town, all within a few years. I mean, that was what attracted me.
At that time, it had to be like 10,000, because now it's 13 or 14,000. It's still not big.
Yeah. Oh, you mean Glen Rock?
Yeah, you're talking about 10,000 people in Glen Rock.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Very small
incredible.
town. So it was like, wow, how did this... So one of our original ideas was trying to figure out, how did this happen, that all this talent came out in this year? We never answer it. I wanted to sort of give the impression that maybe some of the spirit from the rock,
it is the
came
rock.
off,
It's totally
it's
the rock.
It's the Lenni Lenape Indians spirituality.
There is
somehow
something
came off.
magical from that rock that came from outer space somewhere.
So he and I started talking about doing it, and we said, okay, well, we'll take it one step at a time. First thing we did was we called Lee Shapiro, because he's sort of the older, sort of the one they all look up to, and he was on board, and after he was on board, Jimmy said yes, and everybody was okay. Great. So I said, well, let's interview him first. I mean, full, hour-long, professionally lit interviews, and the interviews were insane when you saw the film. These guys are,
it was so good.
They're so open, they're so interesting, they're so thoughtful, and it was like, wow, we've got something here. And then it just kind of grew, and then we arranged the concert, and we had a big concert at the high school auditorium where the screening is tonight.
Yeah, and all the guys. I mean, it was all the guys.
They're all there, and it sold out in 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, the word went out.
I couldn't get tickets.
Yeah.
I tried. I couldn't get tickets.
Yeah. And it was incredibly successful, and we shot it, obviously, 3 cameras, and I'm an editor. I'm a director now, but I'm mainly, for most of my career, I've been an editor, so I just couldn't wait to get all
To
that
put this all
footage
together.
back. Yeah, it was so much fun.
It must have been, as you're editing it, as you're putting it all together, it just must have felt so good and so right. Like you knew that this was a great project, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I really felt it all along. It's been sort of blessed. I mean,
well, it's a passion project. You graduated from the same high school.
Yeah. And these guys, they all love each other. And of course, Joe Silski. Now, let me tell you about Joe. Joe Silski is their teacher. I knew he was their teacher. Obviously I went to the school and he was the music teacher, and I knew he was there when all of them were there. So I knew he'd be an important part of the film. We wanted to interview him and get his story. I knew that would be important to interview him. But until I started interviewing these guys, I had no idea. I mean, they credit him with their careers. I mean,
wow.
They love him and respect him, and it's obviously reciprocal. And so that was a revelation to me. And the article that just came out in the Record, they're comparing the film to Mr. Holland's opus. Because it really became more and more about him, and which is fine. That's how documentaries are. You never know.
You never know the direction
where they're going to go, which is kind of the excitement of it. And he hadn't seen these guys in 50 years. He hadn't seen them.
You hadn't seen them since they graduated?
Yeah. I know he had seen John Feeney because he and his wife liked classical music, and they'd gone to some of his concerts, and John had told me that, but even then, John said he would kind of wave at him from the stands, they didn't really talk or anything. Yeah. So we arranged a reunion at his house the day before the concert, and I mean, it was emotional.
Oh my God. It wasn't Mr. Holland's opus.
Yeah.
Wow.
And some of the guys too. Some of them see each other. Obviously, 3 of them are brothers, and some of them see each other and play with each other. But a lot of the guys hadn't seen each other in 50 years. So it was really something, and very emotional. And you know how it is with people that you're that close to. You know, they picked up like
It's
it was
like
yesterday.
nothing ever happened, right? It was
Yeah.
like you guys saw each other yesterday. Oh,
Yeah.
that's incredible. So how old is the teacher now?
He is
Like
Joe
70s?
Sielski. No,
80s?
he's like 85.
80s, wow.
And he's in good shape. And they go to concerts, they travel. They're a really impressive couple. And his wife Carolyn made all the food for that luncheon, and they were so excited. He obviously is through the moon with this whole thing.
Has
I
to
mean,
be,
he
has to be. Is he going to be there tonight?
he will be there tonight.
Oh, I'll definitely make sure that we interview. We'll see if we can get a little quick interview with him.
They'll be happy to.
And put it on there. Yeah.
He is just through the moon with this whole thing. I have one anecdote I have to tell about Joe. The guys at some point before the concert are like, because Joe plays sax, and you know he and Jerry used to do duets in school and stuff. And I think it was Jerry said, you know, Joe should play with us. And I was like, okay. So I asked them, and Joe was like, no effing way. I haven't picked up that instrument in 20 years.
Wow.
So then they said, okay, well, how about if you conduct a number? And he's fine, you know, so I'll conduct. Okay, so then I'm emailing with Carolyn about the luncheon and stuff like that. At the end of her email to me, she goes, by the way, Joe started practicing the other day.
He did. Oh,
So-
that's great.
And he ended up playing with them on Mercy, Mercy, Mercy.
Wow.
And so, if nothing else, this film got someone in his mid-80s to start playing again. I mean, how
That's
cool is that?
amazing.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll definitely talk to him about it tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me about your journey. You graduate 74.
I graduated in 74.
Where'd you go after that?
I went to undergrad at Bucknell University in Pennsylvania as
Great
an
school.
English major. At that time, they actually have a film program now. They didn't then. And that's when I was always into film. In high school, one story which I told, the first film I made was at Glen Rock High School, actually middle school, 8th grade. I didn't feel like writing a paper. And I asked the teacher if I could make a little film, and she said sure. And
Did you get your parents Super 8?
Exactly. That's Super 8. Frankie and Johnny, it's on YouTube if you want to see it.
Oh, that's awesome.
be
I'll
happy
put the
to send
link.
you a
Send me the link. I'll put it. Look at the bottom right now. You'll see the link to his site.
And some of these guys like John and Doug, who I was friends with, you know, we would always talk about movies and old, you know, bogey movies and Casablanca and all that. And I got more and more into it. And then at Bucknell, it kept growing. They didn't have any production classes. They did have some film history classes in the English department. Excuse me. And I just kept getting more and more into it. And I ran the film series where we picked the films to screen for the students at night. And whatever there was, I wrote film reviews for the Bucknell newspaper. Whatever there was to do with film, you know, I was there.
Yeah, it was in your blood.
Yeah, and there was one guy there who knew about, because when junior year comes around, it's like, you know, what are you going to do? You know, you're going to
gotta pick a
graduate.
major.
You gotta, what are you going to do with your freaking life? You know, and so this, because I didn't know much about anything about Hollywood or anything, and there was one guy there who said, well, there's film schools, and the best are USC, UCLA, and NYU, and I kind of wanted to.
Go
out
away.
to Hollywood, yeah. So I didn't even apply to NYU, which made my parents angry because they wanted me to stay around. But so I applied to USC and UCLA, and somehow I got into USC, which again I didn't know until I got out there that that's where George Lucas went. And
Oh, you didn't know any of the history.
No.
Oh, that's like
I thought
number
UCLA
one.
somehow was more prominent, and it is a good school, but USC is like, you know, the film school. It still is. And you know, Zemeckis and all these guys. Spielberg didn't go there. A lot of people think Spielberg went there because he's donated a ton of money. He actually went to Long Beach State, but in any case,
When you're that gifted, you can go wherever you want.
yeah.
You go to the college in your basement.
yeah. So I went to SC Film School. I gravitated towards editing. I've always loved editing. I like working by myself in quiet rooms. I've gotten more social as I've gotten older. It may seem like I'm social from this interview, but I really am kind of a shy guy. I like being creative in my own little space. I just love editing. I still do. It's still my favorite part of filmmaking.
Do you still, now you live in LA?
Yeah, I've lived there since '78.
Do you still have a moviola?
That's funny. I had one until I finally got rid of it. Maybe
You gave it away, right?
8 or 10 years ago. Yeah. I had one just sort of, as a prop. It looked good, like in the background of like this interview. Would have a movie.
And I have to say, Greg, I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, maybe you're the one. Maybe Barry's the one that you got the moviola from. My friend Greg in LA is an editor, and he said people are just giving these machines away because they don't know what to do with them.
Yeah,
they're obsolete.
Yeah, and they're heavy, and they're not really that great looking.
So you've adapted now to the digital editing. And
yeah,
all
I
that.
started when I first started my career. So I was at SC Film School of '78 to '81. Started working right away. Mostly through connections through film school, and a lot of my work comes from that. And started cutting 16 and 35 millimeter film.
And it's actually cutting.
Mylar tape.
Cutting.
Yeah,
with that little thing that goes click.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. It was like a skill.
Yeah, totally.
It was like what we would call a craft. Like in the old days, the barrel makers, or the forgers or whatever. It was like a skill, a craft. Now it's like anybody can make films on their phone.
I know,
but
there you go.
Can we cut or?
I'm sorry, I can't.
Are you trying to get through?
I'm too short to step over.
You edit this, right?
These are for you guys.
Oh no, I don't edit this at all.
Oh, you don't?
No, you mind if I turn the camera around and show you what we're struggling with right now? Are you sure?
Here, okay.
All right, so Barry's going to go. And we're going to go back to the Arts Council of Glen Rock. So the movie that's being screened tonight is to raise money for the Arts Council of Glen Rock, and it's great that you're doing that, and that the Arts Council has put this together because, I'm sure a lot of you guys know that when the first programs that they cut in schools, whether it's elementary, middle, high school, the first programs that go, it's not the athletic programs. They never go away. They seem to keep growing. It's always the arts programs. So if you're not going to get that at your school, at least have organizations like the Arts Council of Glen Rock that support the arts and all kinds of arts, whether it's visual, performance, it's dance, whatever it is. So I really appreciate that you're screening that tonight for the Arts Council and for the high school.
Well, thanks. And the dream, which I don't know if it's ever going to do this, but one of my goals for the film is to get it shown more widely across the country and to promote arts and music education, because I think it's really important. And because if I can't get picked up by a major distributor, I'm thinking of just going the educational route and try to show it in high schools.
Yeah, well, that would be ideal.
Yeah.
I mean, for high school students to be able to see that, because I remember when I went to school, everybody used to make fun of the marching band and the guys that were in band.
Yeah.
You always made fun of them. Although there were a lot of friends of mine, and that was one of my ways of getting onto the football field without paying, was to carry their equipment. So I became a roadie just so I could go watch a game for free. To be able for students to see, keep going, keep pushing, keep pursuing. If you like this, keep going.
Yeah.
Because if you have the opportunity to watch in the film, make sure you go to the Ridgewood Film Festival, April 27. You will see the level that these guys that graduated from Glen Rock High School, they played for the Conan O'Brien. They were Conan O'Brien's house band.
Yeah,
and of course,
Jimmy was a band leader, and
I
Jerry was a
think
sax
it was
player.
either Jimmy and Jerry. I think it was their band because they were playing together. That played at our prom in 1980.
Oh yeah,
they played at our high school prom. Yeah, and now
they used to play with proms.
Yeah, proms, weddings, whatever, anything to do to make money.
Yeah.
So they played at our prom. So that's awesome that you're doing that.
Great.
And I want to go back. So
my career.
You've been editing. Yeah. Let's go back to your career.
So I graduated.
Since we were so rudely interrupted.
Yeah. Graduated SC Film School in the early '80s. Basically, I mean, became a freelance editor, assistant editor at first, and then moved up to being an editor. amazingly, the very first film I edited was a documentary short on 16 millimeter about an artist named Red Grooms. And I get a phone call. This is like 1986. It's nominated for Academy Award for Best Documentary Short Subject.
What?
Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
Did you go to the Oscars?
I went to the Oscars.
1986, you're in the Oscars.
Yeah, I went to the Oscars. We went to was even more exciting than the Oscars. 2 weeks before the Oscars, they have what's called the nominees luncheon, and I remember,
you saw everybody.
Yeah, because like the older guys come who are just members of the Academy. So like Gregory Peck was there, and Jack Lemmon was there, and all these guys, and oh man,
That must have been a dream come true.
it was a dream come true, and it was like, wow, this Hollywood thing is easy.
Yeah, right. First film out.
Yeah, boy, was I wrong. Yeah, no, so that was an absolute treat. Yeah, going to the Oscars and all that. That's the only time I've ever been. So, freelance editor, worked on various things. I was one of the first editors on the show Cops, which, whatever you think of it, I mean, people at least
Was that
have heard
Bad
of it.
Boys, Bad Boys?
Yeah,
What you gonna do? Okay.
Yeah. And then in the mid-90s, I edited a kids' science show called Beekman's World for CBS, and that I won an Emmy for. So I've had a lot of success early in my career, I guess. And yeah, that was actually my award too. With the Oscar, it was, I said if we won, we didn't win. If we had won, I was going to walk up there. I probably wouldn't have said anything, but I was going to walk up there because the official nominee is the producer of the
course.
film, you know. But I was sitting there with him, and so then, in fact, the guy who made the Red Grooms film, my friend Tom Neff, and I cut a lot of his documentaries, and we were partners. I met him in film. He was my first friend from film school when I moved to LA. He founded the documentary channel. And I started there in 2005. So I went from being a freelance editor to being a TV executive, which was kind of cool. And so we were on the air from 2005 to 2013. And then we were bought by Participant Media, and they let us all go, which was kind of a bummer. But
Because they had their friends that they brought over.
yeah, they wanted their own people. You know, they want the, you know,
Very close-knit community.
Yeah. So since then, I went back to freelance editing. I've edited a number of documentaries since then, and I started making my own films. I made a short a number of years ago, just a little 5-minute short, which actually got into the Ridgewood Film Festival back in, I think, 2018 or 2019. And then started working on Banded Together, which is the first feature film that I've, feature documentary that I've edited. I mean, that I've directed, sorry.
Directed, edited, I mean, you did
Directed,
most.
edited, produced, coffee slinger, you name it.
and again, we're gonna show some clips so you get a chance to see parts of the movie, and we're gonna interview. Hopefully, we'll interview the teacher that inspired
Joe
all
Silski,
these
yeah.
amazing musicians, and again, April 27th, Ridgewood, New Jersey, at the theater, Ridgewood Theater. They're going to have the Ridgewood Film Festival. I'm not sure how many years they've been having it. It's fairly
I
new.
don't know.
Yeah, it's fairly new.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's pretty new.
And then we'll try if we find a website, we'll try to post the website here. Is there a place that you were saying that you had this 5 minutes? Is there a place you're saying your YouTube channel? You have a YouTube channel?
I do have a YouTube channel.
We're going to put the link right here.
Yeah, we'll put the link up.
We'll put the link right here so you can see some of his other work.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff up there. Part of actually there's a few scenes on there from a show that I did, which I, to this day, well, except for maybe Banded Together, I consider the best thing I ever worked on with my friend Tom Neff. We did a 6-hour history of country music. Wow. This is again in the mid-90s, and it was right with Beekman's World. And it was an amazing show.
It's
Unfortunately,
like a Ken Burns kind of thing, 6 hours.
Yeah. And Ken Burns just did, like, I don't know, a 16-hour...
Well, he knocked you off. He saw yours, he's like, I could do it more.
I guarantee you, and people will call me crazy, but ours is better.
Where can they see it? Is it?
It's hard to see. It was actually for TBS, and it was strange even at the time for it to be on TBS, because even the executive from TBS that was working with us, they go, yeah, TBS is mainly known for beer swilling Braves fans.
Yeah.
Watch it, but for some reason that's where they wanted to put it. It would have been better to be on CNN or one of their other stations, but. In any case, it's a long story I can't go into, but they kind of buried it, and it's hard to see. But I keep posting scenes from it. I put about, I think, 5 now on my YouTube page, and they're
Which
getting.
You saw the links. So make sure you go check it out.
They're getting a lot of hits.
That's awesome.
The bluegrass section and the songwriting section. Yeah, in case it's a really good show.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know
yeah.
Tonight's going to be a big night. Again, it's banded together. You're going to see some clips. And April 27th at the Ridgewood Film Festival, make sure you stop. You say hi to Barry. Tell him you saw it on the Towncast so that you don't freak him out as some kind of stalker. And make sure you check it out. It was cool on so many different levels. It is a feel-good movie, which is rare. And the fact that these guys have remained friends, and I didn't even realize that the teacher hadn't picked up a saxophone for 50 or 20 years, and here he is now. It's such a great film, and I know you guys are going to enjoy it. And again, I appreciate the fact that you're screening this at the Glen Rock High School, and proceeds are going to go to the Arts Council. And again, guys, if you don't support these organizations, the Arts Council of Glen Rock, the Arts Councils of any of your towns, if they go away, you lose this kind of incredible work. And so it's great that you're doing that, and I'm really looking forward to tonight. I really am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I appreciate it.
All right.
All right, make sure you check it out. And again, April 27th, Ridgewood Film Festival. Make sure you go see the screening of Banded Together. And check out his YouTube page. It's pretty cool. All right, be well, everybody.
Bye.
I am with Joe, the teacher, and of course I'm here with Barry's wife, the producer, the director, the editor, the everything of the movie. But Joe, in talking to the musicians that we're going to see in the movie, how was it when you were teaching them? I mean, did you see something in them? What that you were able to encourage? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, you hear it.
You hear it.
You see it, but you hear it, and you give them. The more you give them.
How are you, handsome?
Good, Bill.
Nice to see you.
Yes, they had
eat it up.
They had it, and all you had to do was find ways to show it off.
And you encouraged them, like you saw it, and you pushed them.
And
all right,
when he saw they had talent, he would play with them after school or at lunch and do duets and things.
Yeah.
A lot of credit to you. It's amazing. Thank you so much. Enjoy it.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.